At the charity gala, Ryan brought Chloe, making a grand entrance. I swallowed my pride for the sake of appearances, but then she turned around, held a press conference, played the victim, and unfairly blamed everything on me. I sneered, "You brought this on yourself. I've always believed in action, not just talk. My name is Stella, and I'm an A-list celebrity. Just a minute ago, Ryan and I were a picture of a loving and harmonious couple. Countless actresses envied me for having a wealthy husband who doted on me. But just now, Sarah, my assistant, looked grim and whispered something no one else could hear. She said my husband was coming up in the elevator with Chloe." I froze. I thought of the loving moments Ryan and I shared. I couldn't believe it was true. Could you have been mistaken? My heart pounded, lodged in my throat. Sarah said urgently, "Stella, there's no mistake." In that instant, I was overcome with immense sadness. It's true what they say. Money corrupts men. Back then, he was a penniless man. I worked my tail off helping him secure resources and endorsement deals. His family's business grew from a modest workshop to a multi-million-dollar empire today, and I was indispensable to that success. Even after a long day of filming, I still had to cater to him. I endured so much hardship and pain to continue the Dawson family line, and in the end, he betrayed me. Have someone block the elevator and stop them. The charity gala was attended by at least dozens of news outlets and reporters. If this got out, it would be a bombshell. For the sake of the charity gala going smoothly, I decided to tolerate it for now. Yet, to my surprise, I couldn't stop them. Ryan and Chloe actually came up the stairs. Sarah was on the verge of tears. "Stella, what do we do? Some reporters already know and are heading this way." "I'll handle it." The charity gala was organized to raise funds for the poor. It had to proceed without a hitch. I gathered my skirt and quickened my pace downstairs. I even accidentally twisted my ankle, but I couldn't stop. Reporters had already set up their cameras. "Ryan, Chloe, you're here." It was time for my acting skills to shine. I buried all my feelings of grievance, humiliation, pain, and resentment deep inside. On my face, I put on an expression of pleasant surprise. Ryan and Chloe were both stunned. Seizing the moment, they were frozen. I took Chloe's hand. "What took you so long?" "We've been waiting for ages." I naturally positioned myself between Chloe and Ryan. Turning to the reporters, I explained, "Quick, take a picture of us." Seeing my open and natural demeanor, the reporters' suspicions vanished. The three of us successfully took a photo. The charity gala proceeded smoothly. I donated $10 million to support children and families in remote, underserved areas, earning a round of applause. Back home, I dropped the rigid smile from my face. "What's your relationship with her? Tell me the truth." At this point, there was no room for easing into it. All I wanted was the truth. Ryan no longer had his usual gentle patience. He lit a cigarette I detested, poured himself a glass of the wine I disliked most, and glared at me coldly. "She's a new talent the company is developing. Are you overthinking this? Are you going through menopause? No wonder you can't get pregnant. You're becoming more unreasonable with age." I, an A-list celebrity, was only 32 this year, fair-skinned, beautiful, with long legs. Yet, the cheating Ryan belittled me as completely worthless, turning me into a menopausal woman who couldn't bear children. Just a few days ago, he was speaking softly to me, showing extreme care. Now, he looked at me with disgust, like a bag of trash. He couldn't wait to get rid of me. It was hard to believe he was the same person. My voice hoarse, I asked, "What about her makes me inferior?" Although I had no intention of looking back, I still wanted to know why all of this was happening. Smash! The crystal glass was his birthday gift from me last year. Just like that, he smashed it. "Are you done?" "You're insane." Ryan cursed at me, then went back to the bedroom to sleep. That shattered glass broke the last shred of hope I refused to acknowledge in my heart. Grief surged over me. I cried. I couldn't remain indifferent. I had given this man deep love and done everything in my power for him. I was simping, only to end up with nothing. In that moment, my heart turned completely cold. They started it, and I'll give them a taste of their own medicine. Did they really think I earned the title of A-list celebrity for nothing? I immediately ordered measures to suppress Chloe, and to investigate everything about her, but that wasn't enough. Everything that belonged to me had to be taken back. Not a single person who deserved to be dealt with would be spared. To my surprise, the next day, Chloe held a press conference. She played the role of a frail and pitiful damsel in distress. "I lost my parents when I was young, and I've put in every effort just to survive. I truly don't know what I did to offend Stella, causing her to suppress me and send people to follow me. Does being an A-list celebrity mean you can just bully people? I'm genuinely on the verge of depression. I'm so heartbroken. Sniffle, sniffle. The camera's focused on the tear-streaked Chloe, who looked utterly pathetic. I have to admit, her acting in actual dramas wasn't great, but she was a master at feigning innocence and playing the victim. Her fans at the scene, seeing their damsel in distress cry so sadly, were outraged and furiously denounced my crimes. Why can she just bully people? Does being an A-list celebrity make her special? Stella must have seen Chloe's potential and was worried she'd be replaced, which is why she wanted to blacklist Chloe. Standing by the door, I felt like laughing. A slut like her thinks she can replace me? What a joke! Creak, the door swung open. I walked towards Chloe. Reporters turned their cameras and started interviewing me. Ms. Stella, why are you suppressing Ms. Chloe? Is it because you're worried she'll replace you? Stalking is illegal. Is Stella aware of that? Ms. Chloe is depressed. When do you plan to apologize? Standing opposite me, Chloe's lips curled into a smug smile. She'd hired a few shady reporters and some paid online commenters. Did she really think that would bring me down? I coldly scanned the reporters Chloe had brought. My gaze intimidated them, making them back away. Yes, I was the one who ordered Chloe's suppression. From this moment on, she can forget about getting any roles or endorsements. Everyone was stunned. They hadn't expected me to admit it so readily. Chloe covered her face, feigning tears. Stella, how could you do this to a girl from the countryside? Do you know how hard I've worked? You're already an A-list celebrity. Why bother troubling a small artist like me? I'm on the verge of a breakdown. Please, just let me go. Do you really want me to die? Chloe collapsed onto the podium, sobbing uncontrollably. Her fans were heartbroken. They started speaking out, accusing me, and even cursing at me, as if I were the one who destroyed a family and seduced someone's husband, and was the victim. The trending topic about me suppressing Chloe and bullying a newcomer in the entertainment industry, leveraging my status, instantly shot to #1, but I didn't care. Click clack. I walked towards Chloe in my high heels, like a queen. Look up. Chloe slowly lifted her head, revealing a bewildered expression. Slap. I put all my strength into it and gave her a resounding slap, sister. It was time for a showdown. My principle was, live and let live. But if you cross me, I'll retaliate tenfold. Chloe was stunned by my slap. She stared at me, covering her swollen face in disbelief. Clearly, she hadn't expected me to dare hit her in public. Stella, you dared to hit me. To make it perfectly clear that I indeed dared, I slapped her again with my backhand. This time, her tears were real. My hand even went numb from the force, but it felt incredibly satisfying. The reporters and Chloe's fans went wild. They all rushed forward, demanding, how dare you hit her? How else do you plan to bully people? I said coldly, because she's Chloe, she interfered with my family, this slap is getting off easy. My words instantly caused an uproar. In the entertainment industry, morality is the bottom line. An affair involving someone else's marriage is practically a career death sentence. Chloe hadn't expected that I would disregard my reputation entirely and expose the truth. You're wrong. I'm truly wronged. Stella, isn't suppressing me enough? Do you have to force me to my death? Hey, how laughable. She interfered with my marriage, then tried to blame me unfairly and ruin my reputation. And now she was claiming I was trying to force her to her death. Shamelessness truly knows no bounds. Remember this. I'm not letting this go. Just wait. I'll make you pay the price you deserve. I turned and walked away gracefully. Sarah had a distressed look on her face. Stella, you were too impulsive. Looks like we need to prepare for PR. Yes, we need to prepare for PR, but not for me. It's for Ryan and Chloe. I glanced back at Chloe, whose eyes were filled with hatred, and I smiled. Did she think this was over? No, this was just the beginning. My gaze made the damsel in distress flinch. This time, her fear wasn't feigned. It was real. With my aura fully unleashed, I left gracefully under the gaze of countless delusional fans and reporters. That very day, I became a trending topic. A-list celebrity damsel in distress. A-list celebrity? Or an affair involved with Chloe? Below the sensational headlines were pictures of me slapping Chloe. Looking at the photos, I was in a good mood. I commented, nice shot. Professional reporters really are different. They made me look much better than Chloe. Sarah looked distressed. Stella, you're so calm. Aren't you worried at all? What if your career collapses? On that, I had absolute confidence. It won't. With the evidence I currently possessed, Ryan and Chloe were both going down. Sarah added, what if Chloe really gets into trouble? She keeps threatening to die today. I smiled. If she really had that much spirit, she wouldn't have chosen to interfere with my family in the first place. But it was good. I had finally seen Ryan's true colors. Sarah and I were still talking when returned. He angrily slammed his hand on the table at me. Look at what you've done. The photo showed Chloe had slit her wrists. I laughed. Who was she trying to fool with that little trick? If she were truly suicidal, would she have the leisure to take a photo and send it to others? I said calmly, it's just an act. Did you think it'd be as foolish as you and fall for it? Ryan stared at me in disbelief. Stella, this is a human life we're talking about. How could you be so cold-blooded? Cold-blooded? This is what he calls cold-blooded. I stood up, my face cold as I looked at my husband, the man who was once loving, but now was slamming tables at me for another woman. When you brought Chloe to the charity gala, why didn't you think you were cold-blooded? How much have I sacrificed for you, for this family? You're keeping a woman outside. How is that not cold-blooded? Get out of my sight. Get lost. Ryan left without looking back. I knew exactly where he was going without even thinking about it. To the hospital, to check on his precious Chloe. Of course, I wouldn't miss such a golden opportunity. When arrived at the hospital, the flowers I'd ordered for him had just arrived. A massive bouquet. Many reporters were waiting outside Chloe's hospital room, eager for the latest news, and then my husband Ryan arrived. Ryan paused. He wanted to slip away. The delivery guy, seeing Ryan, excitedly announced, Mr. Ryan, these are the flowers you ordered for Ms. Chloe. He just had to make a dramatic statement. The reporters, with their utmost professionalism, captured the entire scene. Chloe was so moved she teared up. Ryan, you're finally here. If you were a moment later, we'd be separated by death. At that moment, Ryan was completely dumbfounded. Who sent the flowers? Not me. But seeing Chloe's touched expression, he had no choice but to awkwardly admit it. The next day, the cover of the entertainment magazine featured Ryan with a bewildered look, holding the flowers, while Chloe's eyes were filled with emotion. I took the magazine and found Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret. Ryan was also there. I slapped the magazine onto the table and calmly uttered two words, divorce. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret were startled. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Stella, could this be something a tabloid reporter made up? Your relationship with Ryan was so good. Ryan's eyes blazed with fury. If you divorce me, aren't you afraid your career will plummet? Aren't you afraid you'll struggle financially? Threatening me? From the moment Ryan shattered the birthday gift I gave him, I had planned everything, and divorce was just the first step. My gaze was firm, my expression resolute. The divorce had to happen. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret had always treated me fairly well, and they knew that the family's current success was entirely due to my efforts in attracting investments and securing endorsement deals. You animal, is this true? Mr. Howard slammed his hand on the table. Ryan denied it. Dad, don't listen to Stella's nonsense. I really didn't. You should ask her if she's had an affair. The entertainment industry is a complex and murky place, full of all sorts of people. Maybe already has someone else. He was trying to blame me unfairly again. My heart felt as if it had been gouged out and left in the freezing depths of winter. The man had given everything to not only cheated but then falsely accused me of having an affair. I smiled. There was no warmth left, only coldness. In 1 minute, you'll know who cheated. Soon after, Chloe appeared at Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret's home. Following the address I had anonymously sent her, thud, she knelt before Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret, revealing her cut wrist. Uncle and Auntie, Ryan and I are truly in love. He lost his feelings for Stella a long time ago. Please, allow us to be together. She made it sound so sweet, as if they were a loving, star-crossed couple, unable to gain their parents' approval. Little did she know, the most painful person in this whole affair was me. Mr. Howard sighed. Stella, my family has wronged you. I never expected this rebellious son to do such a thing. My face remained expressionless. 1,000 apologies couldn't heal the wounds in my heart. Chloe stood up and bowed deeply to me. Stella, it's all my fault. If you want to hit or scold someone, direct it at me. I only ask that you allow Ryan and me to be together. Again, that victim's expression, pitiful and vulnerable, fragile as a damsel in distress. After speaking, she suddenly gagged. Mrs. Margaret, who had been silent, changed her expression. Her gaze, filled with suspicion, darted over Chloe. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret exchanged a look. They seemed to understand each other perfectly. I took it all in. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret had been decent to me, but at a critical moment, they would always side with their son. I brought Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret here this time to give them a chance to see how they would choose their own destiny. I can allow you to be together, but I want 30% of the company's shares. My contributions to this family and the company were worth far more than 30%. Ryan didn't even think. He coldly refused on the spot. Absolutely not. Do you know how much 30% of the shares is worth? You're crazy. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret remained silent, not uttering a single word. They seemed to be waiting for me to speak. This situation was already within my expectations. If I don't get the shares, I absolutely won't divorce him. Then well, just drag this out and see who breaks first. I had already thoroughly investigated Ryan and Chloe's backgrounds. I was certain they wouldn't choose to drag it out. Sure enough, after some thought, Ryan said, "I'll give you 20% of the shares at most. If that's not enough, then well, just torture each other." I smiled. Such an idiot. I truly couldn't believe I ever fell for him. It was a classic negotiation tactic. Aim for more than you want, and you'll often get exactly what you need. Ryan had no idea that 20% was exactly what I wanted. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret sighed deeply, their voices filled with sorrow and reluctance. "Stella, the Dawson family has wronged you. If you ever need our help in the future, don't hesitate to ask." At those words, Chloe beamed with delight. If she weren't new to the scene, she'd probably be jumping for joy and celebrating right now. But I hadn't signed the divorce papers yet. Chloe had to contain her excitement. I sneered inwardly. Laugh all you want. You won't be laughing for long. Ryan drafted 2 copies of the divorce agreement, which stated that 20% of the group's shares would go to me. He also signed the share transfer agreement. When can we finalize the divorce? Ryan asked impatiently. My gaze turned cold. I hadn't even left yet, and Ryan and Chloe were already intimately embracing, exchanging sweet nothings. I said coldly, "I'm not feeling well these past couple of days. Let's do it another time." With that, I turned and left the mansion. Chloe ran after me, her footsteps light. Her expression was haughty, like a victor. "Stella, thank you for allowing us to be together. If you're feeling down, I can comfort you." Her expression sickened me, but I still smiled. It was a genuine, hearty laugh. "Save that comfort for yourself. It wouldn't be long before she'd be crying." Chloe had no idea what I meant. She simply thought I was cursing her because I had lost. She scoffed disdainfully and returned to the mansion, through the glass. My once warm home was now taken over by another woman. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret, who had just offered comfort and help, now revealed their true colors, showing extreme care. "Chloe, sit down quickly. You've kept us in suspense. How many months along are you?" Chloe, one arm around Ryan and the other stroking her belly, sweetly smiled and said, "Just over 2 months." Mrs. Margaret couldn't stop smiling. Their true colors were truly exposed. "Wonderful, wonderful. I've been wanting a grandson for ages, but Stella is just a barren woman. She's not worthy of my son at all." Ryan was even more cruel and ruthless. "Mom and Dad, you have no idea how hard I had to act in front of her. The truth is, I've wanted to dump her for a long time. What good is a woman who can't bear children to me?" Standing outside the door, I heard every word clearly. "Hey, I couldn't get pregnant." My medical report was in my bag. The report showed all my indicators were normal, and I was perfectly healthy. Before leaving, I looked back at Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret, who were laughing heartily. "You chose your own path. Don't blame anyone else." I turned and left. Upon arriving at the company, I immediately produced the 20% share transfer certificate, combined with the 31% of shares I acquired from other minority shareholders by leveraging my connections. I was now the company's largest shareholder. The first thing I would do was remove Ryan from his position as chairman and completely blacklist Chloe. While and Ryan were still immersed in their happiness, they had no idea the company had already changed hands. After some maneuvering, the company now belonged to my family, not the Dawson family. As a top company in the industry, and with me being a top-tier superstar, everyone in the entertainment circle showed me respect. Chloe was completely blacklisted. Commercial endorsements and film and TV projects would have nothing to do with her from now on. When found out, he furiously rushed to the company to confront me. Seeing me sitting in what used to be his chair, he grew even angrier. "Stella, You're truly malicious. So, you calculated all of this from the start, deliberately taking my company. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. If you have a problem, take it out on me. Why blacklist Chloe? She's pregnant now. She's the Dawson family's precious child. If she has complications with her pregnancy because of you, I won't let you off. Years of affection couldn't compare to a Chloe aged known for just a few months. Ryan probably didn't even know that he was impotent. How could Chloe get pregnant if he was impotent? If she had complications with her pregnancy, she deserves it. Ryan, if you had any brains at all, you wouldn't say such idiotic things. You've harmed me like this, and I won't let you off the hook. Slap. Ryan brutally slapped me across the face. His eyes were cold and grim. My face swelled up from the blow. I didn't cry or scream. I just stared at him coldly, perhaps couldn't stand my gaze. You bitch, give me back my company now, or I'll immediately hold a press conference and tell everyone how vicious you are. Aren't you supposedly an A-list celebrity? It'll definitely ruin your reputation and make you a pariah in the entertainment industry. I said coldly. Go ahead. Ryan gnashed his teeth and left. Afterwards, Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret separately called, kindly advising me to return the company. They promised I wouldn't miss out on dividends in the future, but I had already seen through their true nature. Of course, I wouldn't agree. Then, Howard and Mrs. Margaret revealed their true faces, cursing and humiliating me. There was nothing more unbearable than being insulted by people I once considered family. I blocked Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret. Without hesitation, I called Sarah. It's time to act. The news press conference was just beginning. Ryan had gathered all the influential media outlets. Upon hearing it was explosive news about me, many reporters brought their equipment for live broadcasts. Everyone has been fooled by Stella. She's the most vicious and sinister woman in the world. She tricked me emotionally and even conned me out of my company. She blacklisted Chloe, who was with my company, then tried to blame me unfairly by claiming we had an affair. It was all her design. Chloe's fans swarmed the scene, waving banners proclaiming injustice. Chloe stood to the side, softly sobbing, her shoulders trembling slightly, like a damsel in distress. As if she'd been bullied but dared not fight back, only silently enduring the humiliation. The delusional fans fell for this act completely. Blacklist. Give us back Chloe. The press conference erupted in a deafening roar. The live broadcast also saw a flood of live comments slandering me. Many uninformed and easily swayed fans, without understanding the situation, launched personal attacks against me. At that moment, my career collapse was just one step away. Ryan and Chloe subtly exchanged glances, enjoying their moment of triumph. When suddenly a projection appeared on the big screen. On the screen was a conversation between Chloe and a tattooed young man, Jake. I'm pregnant. Whose? Chloe. Yours. Of course, Jake. Do you think it's that idiot Ryan's? Right. That guy's so stupid it's hilarious. He thought your period was your first time, and he swore age be good to you. I nearly died laughing. Exactly. I always took pills when I was with him. So how could I get pregnant with his child? So, I'm going to be a dad. Ha ha ha. The scene went completely silent. Reporters and fans alike widened their eyes, their mouths hung open. You could have fit an egg in them easily. What was happening? Jake? Chloe? Ryan? A melodramatic love triangle? Ryan was breathing heavily, his eyes bloodshot, as he coldly turned to look at his precious darling. Is this true? Ryan roared and raged at that moment. He was trembling all over, like an enraged bull. Chloe was dumbfounded. She stared at the big screen, her face full of disbelief. Every rendezvous had been in a highly discreet location. How could they have been exposed? It's all made up. All of it. Ryan, you have to believe me, the baby in my belly is really yours. Chloe grabbed Ryan's hand, crying profusely, attempting to win Ryan's heart back with her frail and pitiful image. But at that moment, Ryan detested that damsel in distress act most. Bitch! Slap! In front of everyone, Ryan angrily slapped Chloe. Yesterday's affection instantly vanished into thin air. Ryan, you have to believe me. I truly love you. And the baby really is yours. Ryan painfully closed his eyes. Tears of anguish streamed down his face, watching the live broadcast. I let out a satisfied breath. What a spectacular performance. Next, it was my turn to make an entrance, dressed in a black dress. Looking suitably haggard, I appeared at the press conference. My makeup and acting were both at their peak. My mere presence made everyone sympathize with me. Stella must be the most miserable one. Yes. Look how haggard she is, she should be the most upset. Live comments started flooding in. My already massive fanbase launched a furious attack. The entire screen was filled with live comments expressing sympathy for me. What I said next moved and shocked everyone even more. I walked forward, embraced Ryan, and said, "Love is easy. Marriage is hard. Cherish what you have." In front of numerous news outlets, I did something astonishing. I forgave the cheating Ryan. Reporters and Chloe's delusional fans were dumbfounded. Clap, clap. Someone started to applaud. Soon, the press conference erupted in thunderous applause. Stella is truly a good woman. If I had a wife like her, I'd die happy. Ryan was just slandering Stella like that, but look how magnanimous Stella is. Exactly. Stella is so pitiful yet so generous. From now on, I'm her fan. Many who were originally Chloe's fans all became my fans, and I was already an A-list celebrity. After this incident, my public image as a virtuous wife, tragic yet magnanimous and more, was firmly established. My popularity soared to unprecedented heights. My career not only suffered no setbacks, but instead took off, riding the wave. Reaching new heights, this was something neither Ryan nor Chloe had anticipated. Chloe was instantly dumbfounded, seeing me embrace Ryan. She bristled like an angry cat. "Stella, does the divorce agreement you signed no longer count? Ryan is mine. He's mine." In front of everyone, Chloe shrieked hysterically. She was so close to becoming a Cinderella story. She absolutely couldn't let Stella ruin it like this. Slap. Ryan slapped her again. "Whose are you? Stella is my most beloved wife. Get away from me." Ryan's expression changed instantly, embracing me. Ryan seemed to revert to his former loving and respectful partnership with me. "Stella, it's all my fault. Thank you for forgiving me. From now on, I promise to change and only be good to you for the rest of my life." How could I not understand Ryan's intentions? He had thought a child would continue the Dawson family line, but it turned out to be nothing. If he lost me too, and the company was gone, he would truly lose everything. I held him close and whispered in his ear, "Are you a man? Do you love me?" "Of course." Ryan at that moment just wanted to prove it to me. In a voice no one else could hear, I told him, "If you love me, go deal with Chloe's secret lover. I don't allow anyone to make a fool of Stella's man." Ryan hesitated. He had been decisive when he hit me, but against another man. He was as timid as a mouse. The screen on the stage perfectly began playing the video. It was still Chloe and Jake's voices. "Once I kick Stella out and marry Ryan, with his brains, we can easily control the Dawson family. Jake, you're a genius. Once you control the Dawson family, you absolutely have to make me a big star." "Of course. You're the mother of my child after all." Chloe's lips trembled. She wanted to argue, but she knew herself that anything she said would be futile. Nothing could be more real than this video, and all of it was broadcast live. Chloe's pure and innocent facade completely crumbled. She became despised by everyone. Even her own fans at the press conference couldn't help but throw trash at her, venting their anger. Ryan was even more enraged. With a grim, cold expression, he stormed out. I smiled at Chloe. "It's not over yet. There's an even bigger surprise waiting for you." Chloe's face went pale. At that moment, she was truly terrified, and a visceral fear made her tremble. But I had no intention of forgiving her. If our positions were reversed, she definitely wouldn't have let me off. I feigned sadness and left the press conference. All my former haters online turned into fans. My career reached its peak. Just as I got home, Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret called. They must know the whole story by now. Let them worry. I, a barren woman, wasn't in the mood to pick up the phone. I enjoyed a relaxing bath with a glass of red wine and an aromatherapy spa treatment. Only then did I answer Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret's call. "Stella, why did you take so long to answer? Hurry to the hospital. Ryan's in trouble." I knew the director's grand show was just beginning. Unhurriedly, I dressed myself exquisitely, then drove my sports car to the hospital. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret burst into tears when they saw me. They say a virtuous wife prevents misfortune, but Chloe is nothing but a troublemaker. Ryan found out the baby in Chloe's belly wasn't his, so he went to confront Jake, who ended up hitting him and causing an intracranial hemorrhage. I asked, "How is he?" Mrs. Margaret wept on the spot. "The doctors say there's little hope. The chances of him recovering are not very high." A smile touched my lips. "Oh, is that so? That's wonderful." Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret stopped crying. They froze, seeming unable to believe I would say such a thing. "Stella, you. I sat on a long bench, leisurely scrolling through my phone. Online comments about me were overwhelmingly positive. all of them sympathetic, haters turned into fans. I became a top-tier superstar. It was truly a double blessing. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret knew I was heartbroken, and with their son's life hanging in the balance, they didn't dare offend me, so they could only endure. But I saw the hatred in their eyes. I sneered inwardly. You didn't seize your last chance, so don't blame me. A short while later, the doctor emerged. I'm sorry, we did our best. Please go in and see the patient. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret collapsed on the spot. I went in, my face devoid of emotion. At that moment, Ryan was experiencing a sudden brief rally before death. He grabbed my hand. Stella, save me. I know you have extensive connections. You must know top doctors. I don't want to die. I slapped his hand away. Serves you right. Did you really think I forgave you? You're truly foolish. I made you go confront Jake. Who do you think was secretly behind the projection on the big screen? You really shouldn't have slapped me. Ryan was utterly stunned. He took his last breath. He died with eyes wide open, consumed by resentment. I stared at his resentful eyes, and finally, tears fell. Looking at my husband of many years, an inexplicable sadness welled up inside me, but that emotion was fleeting, because I knew, if I were the one lying on that cold hospital bed, Ryan would never have come to see me. I'd probably be having a grand time with Chloe. Composing myself, I prepared to leave and embrace my new life. Just then, Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret stumbled in. Seeing their son die with eyes wide open, consumed by resentment, the old couple were heartbroken, but I felt no pity. I had dedicated my life to the Dawson family, only to be cast out in the end, labeled a barren woman. As much as I had respected them in the past, I now hated them just as fiercely. Stella, you vile woman, if it weren't for you, you wretch, how would my son have died? Give me back my son's life. Give me back my son, Mrs. Margaret lunged at me. She wanted to hit me. I deftly dodged, and Mrs. Margaret tumbled to the floor. I looked down from above at the old couple, slumped on the ground, wailing in pain. Dad, Mom, this is the last time I'll call you that. I'm giving you a deadline. Move out of the mansion by tomorrow night, because I'm selling it immediately. A mansion full of sweet memories only disgusted me now. Mrs. Margaret sat on the floor, pointing at me. Who do you think you are, Stella? That's my son's house. What right do you have to kick us out? I pointed at Ryan, whose body had not yet stiffened. We aren't divorced yet. As his wife, I am the first in line of succession, so of course the mansion is mine. The company is mine too. Who do you think you are? They had their chance, but they didn't cherish it. They brought this upon themselves, and no one else is to blame. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Margaret's eyes widened, as if a realization dawned on them. So you delayed the divorce not because you were upset, but to inherit my son's property. Stella, what a calculating mind you have. Only just realizing it now. Too late. Everything was already set in stone. I no longer wanted to deal with those two. I turned and left, leaving behind only a cold corpse and two mournful cries in the icy emergency room. Stepping out of the hospital, Sarah reported to me, Stella, Jake, the one who injured Ryan, has been arrested by the police. He's formally prosecuted for intentional homicide. He's probably facing lethal injection. Hey! Chloe's truly miserable, isn't she? Her sugar daddy is gone. The father of her child is facing execution, and her reputation in the entertainment industry is ruined. Serves her right. Sarah chuckled, gloating. I remained emotionless, showing neither joy nor sorrow. Let's go find Chloe. Sarah looked surprised and uncertain, but after my series of actions, she was completely won over by me. Chloe was frantically trying to get bail at that moment, but because it was intentional homicide, there was no chance for bail. Jake had sent word for her to hire an expensive lawyer. That's when I found her. I handed her a detailed list. This is a list of the houses, cars, luxury goods, and more that my Ryan bought for you. Oh, and the transfer details too. Everything must be returned to me. Chloe was stunned at first, then burst into a rage. Ryan bought those for me willingly. What right do you have to demand them back? I stared at her, shaking my head with a cold sneer. Ignorance is truly frightening. Ryan is my husband. The money he used to buy you houses and cars is our joint marital property. It's perfectly reasonable for me to demand it back. You don't have to return them either. Go home and wait for the court summons. Great single mom. I turned, put on my sunglasses, and walked away with flair.